Now listen, y'all looking for that big change? You want a new life, a new mindset, a new level? Cool. But here's what they don't tell you. Growth ain't pretty. It's sweaty. It's painful. It's scary. But it's necessary. So today, I'm giving y'all my 9 rules for personal growth and a happier life. And if you lean in, if you grab hold of just one of these, you ain't gonna recognize yourself a year from now. You keep waiting for the perfect day, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting till you got more money, more skills, more time, waiting till you're not scared anymore. But let me tell you the truth. You will wait your whole life if you keep waiting for perfect. Ain't no perfect moment coming, and there never was. Life don't roll out a red carpet just 'cause you got a dream. It don't slow down for you to get ready. You gotta move anyway. You gotta jump while your knees shaking. You gotta speak while your voice cracking. You gotta start while your hand's still fumbling the pieces. Listen to me. When I first started in comedy, I was anything but ready. Had no backup plan. Had no connections. Had no idea what tomorrow even looked like. I was sleeping in my car, man. Waking up cold, hungry, broke, trying to figure out how the hell I was gonna eat that day, let alone become somebody. You think I was ready? Ready don't exist. What exists is a decision. A moment when you say, I'm tired of sitting still. I'm tired of doubting myself. I'm tired of being scared of the unknown. I'm tired of being almost ready. You either start or you stay stuck. Look at a baby. When a baby learns to walk, they fall. They fall hundreds of times. They stumble. They cry. They look at you like, why you letting me fall, mama? But they don't quit. They ain't waiting until they perfectly understand balance, stride, and posture. They just keep getting up. They trust that falling is part of the learning. What if you trusted yourself like that? You sitting here talking about, well, I need one more degree. I need one more course. I need one more certificate. Man, you got enough already to take the first step. You trying to earn a PhD in courage when all you need is a little bit of guts and a whole lot of faith. Real talk. Most of the people you admire, they started when they were messy, confused, scared out their mind. Oprah got fired from her first TV job. Walt Disney was told he lacked creativity. Tyler Perry slept in his car just like I did, trying to get his first play off the ground. They ain't wait until they were shining bright. They started when their life looked like a big, beautiful mess. You think the dream cares if you're ready? Dreams show up for workers, not wishers. God ain't asking you to have it all figured out. He's asking you to trust him enough to move when you're unsure. Trust him enough to swing when you can't see the pitch. Trust him enough to open your mouth when you're still stuttering in your mind. You keep looking for signs, confirmation, stars to align. Here's your sign. You woke up today. You're breathing today. You got a dream burning in your chest today. That's all the sign you gon' get. Move on it. You ever been on a plane when it's about to take off? They don't wait till every seatbelt clicks perfectly before that bird lifts. They don't wait until every bag is perfectly placed, every passenger smiling. When it's time, it's time. They push back from the gate and they go. You can still be adjusting, fixing, figuring out along the way, but you gotta move. Perfection is the biggest lie you've ever been told. Perfection is just fear wearing a pretty dress. Perfection will steal your time, steal your talent, steal your life if you let it. You better pick up your dream, dust it off, and start walking with it right now, before regret becomes the heaviest thing you ever carry. And I know it's scary. I know that feeling. That twisting gut feeling when you step into something new. It feels like jumping out a plane and hoping your parachute works. But what they don't tell you, the parachute don't open till after you jump. You standing on the plane door, talking about, but what if I fall? Baby, what if you fly? What if everything you've been praying for is waiting on the other side of one ugly, scared, messy step? There's a man right now thinking about starting a business, but he's stuck Googling best business ideas for 3 years straight. There's a woman right now who dreams about singing on stages but won't even post her first video 'cause she's scared what 3 random people on the internet gon' say. There's a college kid with $1 million idea who won't launch it 'cause he ain't sure he can get an A+ on it first try. They all waiting, wasting, missing. Meanwhile, time moves on. The clock don't pause. And opportunities, they show up dressed in overalls, looking like hard work, not looking like perfect timing. You gotta grab them anyway. They out there right now living your dream because they were crazy enough to start before they were ready. And you sitting here more talented, more anointed, more called, but too busy getting ready instead of getting going. Start where you are. Use what you got. Move like you already got the victory. Move like the blood is already yours. Move like the favor is already chasing you down the street. Messy, wobbly, scared, unpolished. Start anyway. Most people miss out on greatness because they think discomfort is a sign to stop. They feel that little pinch of fear, that awkward stretch of newness, and they run back to what's safe. But let me tell you something loud and clear. Everything you want, everything you pray for, everything you dream about is sitting just on the other side of uncomfortable. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. If you're cozy, you're not changing. Comfort is where dreams go to die, where ambition goes to take a nap and never wake up. You ever seen somebody settle into a life they hate, but they stay there anyway? They stay because it's familiar. They outpaced. They stayed because the unknown feels scarier than the misery they already know. Comfort has trapped more dreams than failure ever has. You gotta get comfortable being uncomfortable. That means you gotta get used to sweating, get used to being unsure, get used to stretching yourself so far that some days you wonder if you're gonna snap. But that's the work, that's the grind, that's how the progress comes. You ever watch somebody at the gym trying to build muscle? The trainer tells them, you gotta push till it breaks. You gotta push past the point where it's easy. The transformation don't happen when you lift something light and smile for the camera. The change happens in the struggle, when you're gritting your teeth, when you're shaking, when every muscle is screaming at you to stop, and you keep going anyway. Life is no different. Growth is resistance. Growth is pressure. Growth is stretching further than you thought you could. If your dreams don't scare you a little, you're not dreaming big enough. If your goals don't make you uncomfortable, you're still playing way too small. Remember when you first learned how to drive, your hands were probably shaking on that steering wheel. Your heart was pounding. Your whole body tense like you were trying to defuse a bomb instead of making a left turn. But you pushed through that uncomfortable moment, didn't you? You kept showing up behind the wheel until one day you were cruising with the windows down, music blasting, feeling free. Comfort came after courage. Comfort came after discomfort. That's the cycle. You gotta be willing to look foolish for a minute. If you ever want to look brilliant for a lifetime, you gotta be willing to stumble through your first meeting, your first presentation, your first day on the job, your first steps into your dream. Everybody you see winning out here had an awkward, uncomfortable, messy beginning. Ain't nobody skipped that part. They just didn't quit when it got wrong. Discomfort is not a punishment. It's an invitation. It's life saying, hey, you ready to level up? You ready to get stronger? You ready to walk into a blessing you're not even fully prepared for yet? But too many people treat discomfort like it's danger. They feel a little fear and they freeze. They feel a little doubt and they back away. They feel a little stretch and they shrink and wonder why their life looks the same year after year. You ever notice how a lobster grows? It outgrows its shell. The shell becomes too tight. It starts to feel pressure, discomfort. So what does the lobster do? It goes somewhere safe, sheds its shell, and grows a new one. If the lobster didn't get uncomfortable, it wouldn't grow. If it ignored the pressure, it would die inside its old shell. How many of y'all are dying inside the life you've outgrown because you're scared to shed that shell? How many of you know deep down it's time for a change, but you keep telling yourself, maybe next year, maybe when I'm ready, maybe when I'm less scared? Growth don't wait for your permission. It don't wait for the perfect season. It knocks on your door, looking messy, scary, and uncomfortable. And if you're bold enough to answer, you get the life you're praying for. You want to be great. Get used to being the least experienced person in the room. You want to win big. Get used to walking into spaces where you feel out of place. You want to achieve something different. Get used to being criticized, doubted, laughed at, misunderstood. Discomfort is the tax you pay for the life you want. You sitting here, waiting to feel confident before you move. But confidence don't come first. Action comes first. Courage comes first. Then confidence shows up like a reward for your bravery. You build belief in yourself by walking through fire, not by sitting on the sideline, reading motivational quotes all day. Think about a seed. Before it becomes a tree, it has to be buried in darkness. It has to crack open. It has to push through dirt and rocks and struggle toward the light. If the seed avoided discomfort, it would rot in the ground and never become anything. You're the same. You got greatness inside you that the world needs, but you gotta be willing to crack, to push, to break through. The people who make it, the ones you look up to, they didn't avoid fear. They befriended it. They didn't dodge discomfort. They danced with it. They understood that feeling awkward, scared, unprepared, overwhelmed. That's the price of admission to the life of their dreams. They paid it gladly. Pain is temporary, but regret lasts forever. Fear will tell you, stay small, stay safe, stay hidden. But purpose will tell you, move scared, move messy, move anyway. Every time you choose discomfort, you are choosing to bet on your future self instead of protecting your current comfort. Every time you step into what scares you, you're telling life, I'm ready for more. Every time you lean into the stretch, you're making room for something bigger, better, bolder to enter your life. There is no growth without discomfort. There is no success without fear. There is no breakthrough without a breakdown of everything that kept you comfortable. You gotta protect your energy like your life depends on it. Because guess what? It does. Your energy is the currency you spend every single day. You can have all the talent in the world, the best ideas, the biggest dreams. But if your energy gets drained by the wrong people, the wrong habits, the wrong conversations, you'll stay stuck. You'll wonder why you feel exhausted chasing a dream that used to set your soul on fire. It's not that your dream got smaller. It's that you let too many energy thieves rob you blind. Not everybody deserves access to you. Just because they've been in your life a long time, don't mean they're supposed to stay. Some folks are only qualified for the first chapter of your story, but you trying to drag them into your finale. You trying to take passengers on a plane God never gave a boarding pass to. And you wonder why you got turbulence. You wonder why you can't get off the ground. You gotta be selective about who gets your time, your heart, your mind. Everybody got a vibe. Some people light you up just by being around you. They got a spirit that makes you believe again, dream again, push harder. But others, they drain you just by walking in the room. You know who they are. The ones that always got a complaint, always got a crisis, always want to dump their garbage in your front yard. You walk away from them feeling heavy, tired, like you just fought a battle you didn't even sign up for. You are not a trash can for other people's negativity. You are not a therapist for people who don't want to heal. You are not a battery charger for people who refuse to change. You gotta protect your peace like it's your birthright. You gotta protect your energy like it's your ticket to the life you're trying to build. Think about your phone. You don't let your phone sit around unplugged all day, draining down to zero, and then act surprised when it dies. No, you protect that battery. You charge it up. You close apps running in the background. You turn off notifications that don't matter. You're careful with it because you know you need it to function. Why treat your spirit any less carefully? You ever notice how certain conversations make you feel worse afterward? You start out feeling good, and 5 minutes on the phone with the wrong person got you doubting your whole existence. That's not random. That's energy exchange. Every conversation, every interaction, every text, every post you scroll through, it's either feeding your energy or draining it. You better stop being ruthless about what you let in. You can't afford to keep planting your dreams in toxic soil. You can't water your future while entertaining weeds that choke the life out of your spirit. Not everybody can go with you. Not everybody wants to see you grow. Some people liked you better when you were broken, confused, lost, because your growth forces them to face their own stuckness. Protect your energy. And it's not just people. Protect yourself from the habits stealing your joy. Scrolling endlessly through negativity online. Turn it off. Saying yes to every little favor when your plate is already full. Learn to say no without apology. Staying up all night worrying about things you can't control. Let it go. Your mind was not built to be a dumping ground for fear and anxiety 24/7. Your mind was built to dream, to imagine, to create. Protect your mornings. How you start your day sets the tone for everything. Don't roll over and let your phone flood your spirit with chaos before your feet even hit the floor. Protect your nights. Don't fall asleep marinating in anger, comparison, regret. Bookend your days with peace. Bookend your days with gratitude. Bookend your days with something that reminds you of who you are and where you're headed. Imagine your energy like a garden. Every day you get to choose what you plant. Love or fear, hope or doubt, faith or worry. Every choice matters. You can't plant thorns all day and then cry when you don't see roses. You gotta be intentional. You gotta pull out the weeds early, before they spread. You gotta water your own soul before you go out trying to save the world. There's a reason why lions don't hang out with sheep. There's a reason why eagles don't fly with pigeons. Energy attracts energy. If you want to soar, you gotta protect your atmosphere. You can't keep giving VIP access to people who should have never even made it past the lobby. You can't keep explaining yourself to folks committed to misunderstanding you. You can't keep pouring into cups that got holes at the bottom. You gotta reserve your best energy for your purpose, for your calling, for your dreams, for your peace. You gotta be willing to let some people be mad, confused, offended, because you chose yourself for once. You gotta be willing to lose temporary company for permanent peace. Every yes you give is a no to something else. When you say yes to drama, you say no to focus. When you say yes to toxic conversations, you say no to inspiration. When you say yes to doubting yourself, you say no to believing in what's possible. Every day you are voting for the life you want by what you allow, by what you entertain, by what you protect. Your energy is sacred, your dream is sacred, your peace is sacred, and the world needs you fully charged, not half alive, half committed, half dreaming. You gotta get real serious about guarding your gates, what you see, what you hear, what you speak, what you allow into your spirit. Because the life you want is gonna require all of you, not the leftovers after you give your energy away to distractions, negativity, and nonsense. Most people are scared of failure, like it's a disease, like it's something to be ashamed of, like it's a stain you can't wash off. They tiptoe through life trying to avoid mistakes, trying to play it safe, trying to color inside the lines, so nobody ever points a finger at them. But let me tell you something straight up. Failure is the down payment for success. You don't win by avoiding failure. You win by failing loud and failing proud. You gotta get comfortable messing up in public. You gotta be okay with falling flat on your face while everybody's watching. You gotta embrace it, own it, stand tall in it, because real success ain't about looking good, it's about growing good. And you only grow when you're willing to fail big, fail messy, fail gloriously, in front of the whole world, and keep going. Think about it. When you were a little kid learning how to ride a bike, you didn't hide every time you fell off. You didn't say, "Oh no, I fell. Guess I'm not cut out for this bike riding life." Nah, you got up, scraped knees and all, hopped back on that seat wobbling, and tried again, and again, and again. You learned balance through failure. You learned strength through falling. You learned resilience through the bruises. Somewhere along the way, grown folks forgot that. Now everybody wanna look polished on day one. Everybody wants to launch perfect. Everybody wants to walk into their dream job, their big stage, their big moment looking flawless. But that's not how it works. You learn by doing. You grow by trying. You succeed by failing. You ever see a baby learning how to talk? They don't care if the words come out wrong. They babble, they mess up, they laugh. They say the wrong thing 100 times before they ever get it right. And you celebrate them. You don't shame them. You don't tell a baby, "Oh, you mispronounced that, better quit trying to talk." So why do you tell yourself that now? Failure is not the enemy. Shame is the enemy. Quitting is the enemy. Playing small because you're scared somebody might see you stumble. That's the real enemy. Fail loud, fail proud. Let 'em see you swinging for the fences. Let them see you reaching beyond your comfort zone. Let them see you living so big and bold that failure becomes just another stop on the way to greatness. You think Michael Jordan made every shot he ever took. You think Oprah nailed every interview the first time she sat behind a camera. You think Steve Harvey, standing on that stage today making people laugh and cry, didn't bomb 1,000 shows when nobody knew his name. The greats aren't great because they never failed. They're great because they failed more times than you even tried. When I was just starting out, I bombed shows so bad, man. The silence was louder than any applause I ever got. Walked off stage some nights feeling like a complete fool. But you know what? Every flop was a lesson. Every bad show toughened me up. Every failure was a brick in the foundation of who I was becoming. You cannot build an unshakable life without getting shaken first. You cannot build an unstoppable spirit without being stopped and deciding to push anyway. You cannot build a dream worth living without living through the nightmare of it not working at first. There's a story in every failure. There's a testimony in every tear. There's power in every time you get knocked down and refuse to stay down. People will laugh. Let them. People will whisper. Let them. People will doubt you. Let them. Their opinions don't build your destiny. Their approval don't fuel your dream. You got permission to be imperfect. You got permission to get it wrong a few times. You got permission to look crazy chasing something nobody else can see but you. You gotta wear your failures like a badge of honor, like battle scars from the fight for your own life. Every time you fall and get back up, you send a message to the universe. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving in. I'm not folding because it got hard. You show yourself what you're made of. Imagine if the Wright brothers gave up after their first plane crashed. Imagine if Thomas Edison quit after the first 2, 3, 400 attempts to invent the light bulb. We'd still be sitting in the dark because somebody didn't want to look stupid trying. You can't wait until you feel fearless to move. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is failing, shaking, sweating, doubting, and still choosing to try again. You can fail and still win. You can mess up and still matter. You can fall and still fly if you refuse to stop getting up. You ever play a video game? Nobody beats the boss level on the first try. You lose. You learn the pattern. You adjust your strategy. You come back stronger. That's how real life works too. Failure is feedback. It's information. It's the universe teaching you what you need for the next level. But most people get hit once and stay down. They let one bad moment rewrite their whole story. They let one no cancel out every possibility. They let one failure redefine their worth. Don't be most people. Be the one crazy enough to fail and smile. Fail and laugh. Fail and try again harder than before. You are not your failures. You are not your mistakes. You are not the opinion of somebody who gave up on their own dreams and wants you to give up on yours too. You are not finished just because you fell. You are forged through the fall. You are refined through the fire. Fail loud. Fail proud. Let the world see what it looks like when somebody refuses to quit. Let your life be a loud, messy, beautiful testimony that dreams aren't reserved for the perfect. They're built by the persistent. Let your failures echo through your journey as proof that you were brave enough to show up, speak up, mess up, and level up. Most people pray small because they think they're asking from their own limits, from their own understanding, from their own broken history. They pray little prayers, like they're afraid to bother God, like they don't want to ask for too much and seem greedy. They whisper tiny hopes when they were born to roar bold dreams. But let me tell you something. If you can wrap your mind around it, it's too small. If you can achieve it without divine help, you're aiming too low. You gotta pray big and dream even bigger. You serve a God who creates oceans, carves out mountains, throws stars across galaxies like they're marbles. You think he's intimidated by your dream of a new business, a healed family, a second chance. Come on now, you gotta step into that prayer room like you know who your Father is. You gotta pray like you expect a miracle, like you expect favor, like you expect doors to open that nobody else can even find. You can't pray for rain and walk outside without an umbrella. That's not faith, that's wishful thinking. Real faith says, I'm preparing for what I prayed for. I'm living like it's already on the way. Real faith says, I ask big because I serve big. I dream big because I'm built for more. Look at a child on Christmas morning. They don't tiptoe around the tree, scared to want too much. They rip into those gifts with wild belief that something good is waiting for them. Somewhere along the way, life taught us to shrink our expectations. Life taught us to ask for just enough to survive, not enough to thrive. Life taught us to settle for crumbs when we were born to sit at the table. You gotta unlearn that. You gotta wake up every day with the boldness to say, God, I want it all. Not just enough money to pay the bills, but enough to bless others. Not just enough strength to get by, but enough to soar. Not just peace on the outside, but peace so deep it can't be touched by storms. If your dream doesn't scare you a little, if your prayer doesn't stretch your faith, you're not dreaming or praying big enough. Safe prayers build small lives. Safe dreams build tiny, forgettable stories. But bold prayers, crazy dreams, those build legacies that echo long after you're gone. Think about every major breakthrough you've ever heard of. The people who invented, who transformed, who changed the world. They weren't praying, Lord, help me make it through Tuesday. They were praying, Lord, use me to move mountains. They were dreaming beyond the horizon they could see. They were asking for the impossible and believing it was already theirs. You ever plant a seed? You don't drop it in the dirt and hope it becomes a blade of grass. You plant a seed expecting it to grow into a towering tree, something massive, something bigger than yourself. That's how you gotta pray. That's how you gotta dream. You gotta plant faith deep and believe for a harvest so big that it blesses generations after you. You gotta understand, your dreams are not just for you. Your dreams are seeds for the people watching you, following you, depending on your courage to step out so they can believe it's possible for them too. You praying small doesn't make you humble, it makes you forget who you are. You dreaming small doesn't keep you safe, it keeps you stuck. There's a story I love about a woman who kept praying for a new house. Not a mansion, just a place where her family could live safely, have space to breathe. People laughed at her because she would walk through neighborhoods pointing at houses like they were already hers. She didn't have the money, she didn't have the connections, but she had a bold prayer life and an even bigger dream. One day, years later, she walked into a home that was bigger, better, more beautiful than anything she ever dared to speak out loud. She looked around and said, "This is smaller than what I really believe for." That's faith, that's dreaming bigger. You ever walk into a dealership and the salesperson asks, "What are you looking for?" If you're thinking small, you say, "Just whatever's cheapest, whatever's fastest, whatever works." But if you know your worth, if you know your dream, you say, "Show me the best, show me the top of the line." Life will ask you the same thing. What do you want? And you gotta be bold enough to answer without shrinking. Pray big, dream bigger, ask for what scares you. Believe for what stirs your soul in the middle of the night. Move toward what seems impossible. Speak it out loud, even if your voice shakes. Work like it's already done. Celebrate like the breakthrough is just around the corner. You are not an accident. You are not random. You are not here to live an average, watered-down life. You were born to shake the earth with your dreams. You were born to lift others with your prayers. You were born to show what it looks like when somebody believes big, asks bigger, and lives biggest. Don't you dare shrink your prayers to match your current situation. Pray to match your destiny. Don't you dare shrink your dreams to match your fears. Dream to match your potential. Don't pray like you're bothering God. Pray like you're partnering with Him to do something the world has never seen before. Your dreams should be so wild that when you tell them to people they laugh, not because you're crazy, but because they can't even imagine the level of blessing that's about to hit your life. Your prayers should be so bold that heaven leans in and says, "Now that's a child who knows who they belong to." You gotta open your mouth wide and believe that you are not asking too much. You are not wanting too much. You are not dreaming too much. You are daring to believe that the same power that flung the stars into existence also put greatness inside of you, waiting for you to pray big and dream even bigger. Too many people wait until they reach the top of the mountain before they allow themselves to feel proud. They hold back their joy, like it's some kind of reward reserved only for the biggest victories, the biggest milestones, the massive breakthroughs. But life ain't built in giant leaps. It's built in small steps. Real success, it's stacking tiny wins day after day. And if you don't learn to celebrate the small wins, you'll never fully appreciate the beauty of the big ones. Every single day you're making moves that matter.
Every single day you're planting seeds that will eventually turn. You can't even imagine yet. But if you wait until the whole field is full before you dance, you're gonna miss the magic happening all around you right now. You got up early today, even though you wanted to stay in bed. Celebrate that. You sent one more job application, even though you're tired of hearing no. Celebrate that. You worked out for 15 minutes, even though you didn't feel like it. Celebrate that. You chose water over soda, a book over scrolling, prayer over panic. Celebrate that. Those small choices are shaping your future in ways you can't even see yet. You think a builder only celebrates when the skyscraper is finished. No, they celebrate laying the foundation right. They celebrate putting up the first beam. They celebrate every floor because every floor means progress. You gotta treat your life the same way. You don't wait until you lose 50 pounds to feel good about yourself. Celebrate the first 5. Celebrate the discipline it took to say no to the junk food last night. Don't wait until you're a millionaire to feel successful. Celebrate the first $100 you saved. Celebrate the decision to start, even when it felt scary. You gotta learn to high-five yourself in the mirror. You gotta learn to clap for your own damn self when nobody else is around. Stop waiting for an audience to validate you. Stop needing a standing ovation every time you make a move. You gotta be your own hype man, your own cheering squad, your own source of celebration. Because here's the truth. If you don't appreciate the small wins, you won't be satisfied even when the big ones come. You'll move the goalpost again and again. You'll reach milestones and still feel empty because you never trained your heart to celebrate growth, only outcomes. Think about when a baby takes their first step. Nobody says, well, you didn't run a marathon, so it doesn't count. No, everybody's clapping, crying, recording videos like they just won the Olympics. Why? Because that one shaky step is a miracle. That one step is the beginning of 1,000 more. Your first steps toward your dream are miracles too. Your first messy attempts, your first awkward tries, your first tiny victories, they are sacred. They deserve to be honored. They deserve to be celebrated. You ever start cleaning a room and feel overwhelmed because it's such a mess, but then you make the bed, you throw out some trash, you wipe down one counter, and suddenly you feel momentum building. That's the power of small wins. They create movement. They create belief. They create fire. You gotta look at every little step like it's proof you're becoming who you said you wanted to be. Every tiny win is you keeping a promise to yourself. Every tiny win is you choosing growth over comfort. Every tiny win is you moving 1 inch closer to the life you dream about late at night when nobody's watching. And let me tell you something. Momentum beats motivation every time. Motivation will fail you some days. You won't always feel like working hard. You won't always feel excited. You won't always feel inspired. But if you can chain enough small wins together, if you can celebrate stacking good decisions on top of each other, you will create an unstoppable momentum that carries you even on the days you want to quit. You don't build a championship team by winning one game. You build it by winning small battles every single day, in the weight room, in the film room, in practice. You don't build a masterpiece painting with one giant brushstroke. It's thousands of tiny deliberate movements that come together to create something breathtaking. Your life is your masterpiece. Every time you choose to believe in yourself, every time you take action instead of making excuses, every time you refuse to stay down after getting knocked down, it's a brushstroke on the canvas of your destiny. Celebrate making it through a hard day without giving up. Celebrate speaking kindly to yourself when you wanted to tear yourself down. Celebrate reaching out for help when pride told you to suffer in silence. Celebrate forgiving yourself for yesterday and showing up for today. Celebrate choosing growth when staying stuck would have been easier. The world will try to convince you that only big wins matter, that only viral moments matter, that only trophies and titles and checks with commas matter. But don't believe that lie. Big wins are just a collection of 1,000 small wins that nobody saw. Big moments are just small moments that kept adding up because somebody refused to stop. So when you hit a new personal best, when you finish that book you started, when you have a hard conversation you were scared of, when you save a little money, when you show a little more patience, when you smile, when you could have snapped, throw yourself a party, light a candle, play your favorite song, give yourself a standing ovation right there in your kitchen if you have to. Because you're doing the work, you're showing up, you're moving forward. And that deserves to be celebrated. Every step, every small but mighty win. Here's a strong and fitting ending you can use to wrap up your speech with power and inspiration. So today I dare you. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Celebrate the steps you're taking right now. Pray bigger than you've ever prayed. Dream wilder than anyone says is realistic. Fail louder and prouder than you ever thought you could. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Start before you're ready. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Stack those small wins until they turn into a life so magnificent, so powerful, that people can't help but look at you and say, if they can do it, maybe I can too. Because at the end of the day, this life you're living, it's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about showing up again and again, bruised but not broken, tired but not defeated, scared but still moving. It's about writing a story so bold, so fearless, so full of faith that generations after you will point to your name and say, that's what it looks like to never give up.